वंदे रूप सनातन रघुजुग श्रीजी भगवान कृष्ण कीर्तन गान कीर्तन गान नर्तन परम प्रेम वीर वीर जन प्रिय प्रिय करो कृपा भरऊ श्री चैतन्य कृपा भरऊ भुवि भुव मारव अंतरक वंदे रूप सनातन रघुजुग श्रीजी विचार नहीं कल्पना सद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणं त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरण करो विचार नहीं कल्पना सद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरण विचार नहीं कल्पना सद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरण श्री चैतन्य कृपा बरौ लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने Manang Saranakaram. Vicharanaikangunang Tadharma Samastapaka Lokanang Hitakarinang Dirbhuvane Mannang Saranakaram. Radha Krishna Radha Krishna Padarabindau Bhajanamritau Radha Krishna Padarabindau Madala Nandela Mattalika Vande Rupa Sanatanam Raghujugal Siji Krishna Kitala Dana Natala Parau Prema Madhidhi Veera Veera Janapriya.
Don't let your vacation rental and your hammock be invisible. Get seen, get booked on Booking.com.
Big retailers just banned our lighter, and honestly, we're not surprised because we didn't build this thing to sit on a
Side. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Jamuna Tira Vanachari. गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय, नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद से अद्वैत गदाधर शिवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गौ गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिवर्धन की जय, वृंदावन धाम की जय, नवद्वीप धाम की जय, स्वामी तो भक्तवृंद की जय, गंगा माई की जय, जमुना माई की जय, तुलसी देवी की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, स्वामी तो भक्तवृंद की जय। All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the assembled Lord. Thank you very much.
Nadia Gojumani Tananda Mahajan Nadia Gojumani Tananda Mahajan Hatya Chinam Hate Jibera Karan Hatya Chinam Hate Jibera Karan श्रद्धावान जन है श्रद्धावान जन है श्रद्धावान जन है श्रद्धावान जन है प्रभु आगाए बाय मागिए भिखा प्रभु आगाए बाय मागिए भिखा Bhajo Krishna Koro Krishna Shika Bolo Krishna Bhajo Krishna Koro Krishna Shika Aparara Shunna Hoy Loho Krishna Naam Aparara Shunna Hoy Loho Krishna Naam Krishna Mato Krishna Pito Krishna Dana Pran Krishna Mato Krishna Pito Krishna Dana Pran
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. All glories to our speaker for today, His Grace SARVATMA Prabhu. All glories to the Samud Vaishnavi devotees. We thank you for being here, Prabhujis, Matajis. Shri SARVATMA Prabhu, please, if you are ready, we are ready. We may put the verse on the screen and you take it over from here.
Sure.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Okay, let's begin.
Yes.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat. Nasta Prayeshvabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamashloke Bhakti Rubhavati Naistuki Vanchakalpataruvescha Kripa Sindhuve Vacha Patitanam Pavanavyo Vaishnavavyo Namo Namaha. Okay. Tam nisarantam saliladanudrit druto hiranyakesho viradam yata jasa. Interesting. Karala damstru shani nisvan ubravid gata riyam kim tu asatam vigarhitam. I want to read the synonyms. Tam, him, nisarantam, coming out, salilat, from the water. Anudruta, chaste, Hiranyakesha, having golden hair, Dviradam, an elephant, Yata as Jasa, a crocodile. Karaladam stra, having fearful teeth. Ashani Nisvana, roaring like thunder. Abravit, he said, Gota Riyam, for those who are shameless. Kim, what? To. Indeed, asatam, for the wretches. Vigarhitam, reproachable. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. The demon, who had golden hair on his head and fearful tusks, gave chase to the Lord while he was rising from the water, even as an alligator would chase an elephant. Roaring like thunder, he said, "Are you not ashamed of running away before a challenging adversary? There is nothing reproachable for shameless creatures." Purport. When the Lord was coming out of the water, taking the earth in his arms to deliver it, the demon derided him with insulting words. But the Lord did not care because he was very conscious of his duty. For a dutiful man, there is nothing to fear. Similarly, those who are powerful have no fear of derision or unkind words from an enemy. The Lord had nothing to fear from anyone, yet he was merciful to his enemy by neglecting him. Although apparently he fled from a challenge, it was just to protect the earth from calamity that he tolerated Hiranyaksha's deriding words. Om Agyana Timirandasya Yananjana Salakaya Chaksurumilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langati Girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanyam Ishwaram. So let's give a little context to this verse. And I'm sorry to spoil the end of the movie for you, but actually the end of the movie comes in the next episode, next chapter, so you're not going to miss anything. And if you don't know that Hiranyaksha was killed by the Lord, you have a lot of catching up to do. So here we go. This is chapter 18 called The Battle Between Lord Boar and the Demon Hiranyaksha. So I just read the text so we can be up to speed. Maitreya continued, the proud and falsely glorious. Interesting. Falsely glorious. We have a lot of those. Daitya, means demon, paid little heed to the words of Varuna. Oh dear Vidura, he learned from Narada the whereabouts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and hurriedly betook himself to the depths of the ocean. He saw there the all-powerful Personality of Godhead in his boar incarnation, bearing the earth upwards on the end of his tusks and robbing him of his splendor with its reddish eyes. The demon laughed. Oh, an amphibious beast! Just making fun of Lord Boar because he was underwater. The demon addressed the Lord. Oh, best of the demigods, dressed in the form of a boar, just hear me. This earth is entrusted to us, the inhabitants of the lower regions, and you cannot take it from my presence and not be hurt by me. You rascal, you have been nourished by our enemies to kill us, and you have killed some demons by remaining invisible. In other words, first of all, he says, you cannot take it from my presence and not be hurt by me. It's like the typical bully, yeah, you wanna do that, I'm gonna hurt you, so don't do it. And then he says, you have killed some demons by remaining invisible. So he's calling Krishna a coward, just outright. I mean, they're very fancy the way they express it, but it's saying, okay, of course, you have killed some demons. We are more powerful than you, but because you were invisible, because they couldn't see you. It's like somebody just slap you in the face and he just runs away and hides behind a tree. It's just, where is the person? So it's a coward. So this is what Hiranyaksha is calling Lord Barade. O fool, your power is only mystic. So today I shall enliven my kinsmen by killing you. Again, he says, your power is mystic, and it's kind of temporary. Maybe you did some austerities or something like that, and you got some magic there. But, real power is what I am wielding. The demon continued, when you fall dead with your skull smashed by the mace hurled by my arms, the demigods and sages who offer your oblations and sacrifice in devotional service will also automatically cease to exist, like trees without roots. Now, this is a question I had because Balaram and Varahadev and Duryodhana, this expert mace, Hiranyaksha, they have a mace. And the mace is like a stick, metal stick with a bowl at the end and some spikes, and a pointy thing. So I wonder, I mean, they hit each other with it, but they also throw it, they hurl it at others. So my question was, how do they get it back? I mean, do they have like, it's like a squash racket that you have a string attached to the handle of a racket, just like a bungee cord. How does it work? But apparently there must be some mystical way to retrieve it immediately after you throw it. So that's he's showing his so-called power, your skull smashed by the mace hurled by my arms. Although the Lord was pained by the shaft-like abusive words of the demons, he bore the pain. But seeing that the earth on the ends of his tusks was frightened, he rose out of the water just as an elephant emerges with its female companion when assailed by an alligator. The demon, who had golden hair on his head and fearful tusks, gave chase to the Lord where he was rising from the water, even as an alligator would chase an elephant. Now, interesting, because the name itself, Hiranyaksha, means Hiranya Kesha, having golden hair. Hiranyaksha. This is not the only blonde. Narada Muni is blonde. Indra is blonde. Of course, Arjuna has dark hair, and Mother Yashoda has a complexion of roasted wheat. I mean, they're all different colors in the spiritual world. Krishna is black. It's funny. Prabhupada was talking to, I can't remember, it was a reporter or someone else who was a black person, and Prabhupada said, Krishna is one of yours. He told the guy, Krishna is black, so he's one of yours. It was very cute. But Hiranyaksha, of all people, he is blonde. He has golden hair. But this golden hair is probably like the mane of a lion, that kind of, and just like a lion imposes fear in the jungle with all the animals. I mean, everybody plays, and there's carrions, and there is jackals and hyenas that they come for the prey. But when the lion shows up, it's time to say goodbye. That's why they call it the lion's share. There's no more play. Everybody goes away. So Hiranyaksha is like a lion among the other demons. Everybody was fearful of him, and therefore the golden hair favored him, just like a lion. Then chapter goes on to say, roaring like thunder, he said, "Are you not ashamed of running away before a challenging adversary? There is nothing reproachable for shameless creatures." So that's a verse for today. The Lord placed the earth within his sight on the surface of the water and transferred to her his own energy in the form of the ability to float in the water. While the enemies stood looking on, Brahma, the creator of the universe, extolled the Lord, and the other demigods rained flowers on him. So this is called Lagima, which is to be lighter than the air, practically. And is one of the mystical opulences of Krishna, and is also one of the cities that can be obtained by practicing Ashtanga Yoga. So even the earth is very, very heavy. It's not meant to float in the water. The Lord transferred his own potency and made the earth float in the water. The demon, who had a wealth of ornaments, bangles, and beautiful golden armor on his body, chased the Lord from behind with a great mace. The Lord tolerated his piercing ill words, but in order to reply to him, he expressed his terrible anger. Again, Krishna says he's a dramatic actor. He's just playing his pastimes, his leelas. And how do you know of everybody who is God? Because he's the one who is playing all the time. That's how you know he doesn't have a job. He's just playing around. So here is the Lord who felt like fighting, and here you go. He goes in one of his adventures, which are liberating for anybody. This, all of his leelas have benedictions implied in hearing these leelas, listening to them faithfully. I don't know if I told this before, but there was one time in Tallahassee, Florida. I was running the center there, and I was invited by a professor of religion to speak on the Dasa avatars. Sahadev, did I tell this story before?
I don't think so.
Okay, so it was a class divided in two. There were two periods of 45 minutes, and they had a break in between. And I was going to speak for the first period, for the first 45 minutes, and then go home. So when I thought, what am I going to say about the Das avatars? How are they going to get benefited? They're not going to believe a word of what I say. And they're not philosophical enough to understand the blueprint of Krishna's Leela. So then I said, okay, I'll just go to the Bhagavatam and read each pastime of a Dasavatar, Matsya Kurma, etc., etc. And at the end, it's very curious that I didn't notice. I guess we kind of skipped that part. The Buddhists, they just read and they're happy with it. It says, anyone who reads this faithfully or listens to this attentively, etc., will be liberated, will go to the spiritual world, will, just blessings after blessings. After every story, there was a blessing. And I said, okay, that's it. That's the answer to my question. How would I get benefited? They will just have to listen, and I do the best I can. And so I started Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, etc., Vamana, and Buddha, Krishna, Kalki. But I knew I wasn't going to be able to fit all 10 in 45 minutes, especially the way I told it with a little bit of embellishment in fireworks and humor. So what happened is just I got through half of them, and then the bell rang. It was 45 minutes are up, and they I was supposed to leave, and the teacher was going to teach something else for the rest of the second 45 minutes. But so I stopped and I said, okay, that's all I could fit. And the students were just mesmerized by these stories, and so was the teacher. And the teacher said, no, we are not going for a break, and you can take the second part too. So please keep going. So I continue telling the story after story after story. But the first thing I said before I started telling all the Leela was, you have to understand, just even as a possibility, if this is God manifested in different avatars, incarnations, God can do any damn thing he wants. He has all the power. and he can have as much fun as he wants in every way he wants. So if this is God, this is fine. This fits fine. So I actually told this every story all the way to Kalki, and then I ended. And the students were, you could see, it was like I gave ice cream to people that hadn't eaten for a week. It was like they were just, they couldn't have enough. So they thanked me. They didn't ask any questions. I left. I went home, and then the professor called me that evening and said, "That was great. That was great." They were completely fascinated. So was I. And yeah, there was one person asked, "How does he believe all that?" And but my opening statement was, "Yeah, if I accept Krishna as God, and God by definition is omnipotent, he can do anything, then yeah, of course you have to believe it. This is amazing." So this is uh, this is more or less what happens when you read one of the pastimes. Not more or less, really happens when you read one of the pastimes of the Lord. That if you have enough faith to understand this is the Lord enacting His lila, then you get all the benefit. And if you're doubtful and you think, how, why, even if you believe that Krishna is God, why would he waste his time, showing up as a boar and fighting some guy, if because that person is thinking, if I were God, I would be just enjoying with the gopis or doing something else. No, Krishna has all the desires that we have. They come from Krishna. Of course, we have them in an unpurified way, but Krishna has them pure. He just wants to increase the love of his devotees. Krishna is all about love. It's not a sentimental statement. It's actually true. He's always trying to increase the love, his love for the devotees, and the devotees' love for him. Okay. The personality of God had said, "Indeed, we are creatures of the jungle, and we are now." Krishna is also going to be sarcastic and ironic when replying to the demon. He's giving him a taste of his own medicine. Dadati pratignati, just reciprocating equally. We are creatures of the jungle, and we are searching after hunting dogs like you. That's first insult. Hunting dogs. You just call Hiranyaksha, who is so powerful, and he considers himself a lion, and now is compared to a dog. Not a good comparison. One who is freed from entanglement of death has no fear from the loose dog in which you're indulging, for you're bound up by the loss of death. In other words, he's telling him, only people that are immortal talk like that, and you are not. So, you should shut up. You shouldn't talk like this. Certainly, we have stolen the charge of the inhabitants of Rasatala and have lost all shame. Although bitten by your powerful mace, I shall stay here in the water for some time because, having created enmity with a powerful enemy, I now have no place to go. In other words, he's accepting the challenge that Hiranyaksha thought, how can you reject a formidable adversary? Krishna saying, no, I'm not going anywhere. I have nowhere to go. I'm going to be here. You're supposed to be the commander of many foot soldiers, and now you may take prompt steps to overthrow us. Give up all your foolish talk and wipe out the cares of your kith and kin by slaying us. One may be proud, yet he does not deserve a seat in the assembly if he fails to fulfill his promised word. So Krishna is even incentivizing, inciting him. Okay, so here we are, and you say you're going to kill us. So it's all just talk right now. You haven't done any damage. So, go ahead. If you're going to do it, do it. In other words, it's showing, I have no fear of you. You're just a dog. Shimaitra said, the demon being thus challenged by the personality of God, became angry and agitated, and he trembled in anger like a challenged cobra. Hissing indignantly, all his senses shaken by wrath, the demon quickly sprang upon the Lord and dealt him a blow with his powerful mace. The Lord, however, by moving slightly aside, dodged the violent mace blow aimed at his breast by the enemy, just as an accomplished yogi would elude death. The personality of Godhead now exhibited his anger and rushed to meet the demon, who bit his lip in rage, took up his mace again, and began repeatedly brandish it about. Like this, like a yogi evading death. I was listening to a lecture by Ridananda Maharaj where he was telling about a surgical intervention, like when someone has goes to surgery and is put under anesthesia. He said that he had the experience a few times, and he's as a challenge he tries to see how long he can remain awake after the anesthesia was administered. Used to be um, a lot longer when they used the mask with the gas, but nowadays is injected intravenously, so you don't stand a chance. As soon as it hits the bloodstream, you're done. So he said that usually he starts the challenge and then he wakes up after the procedure is done. Just, he can't remember nothing, can't remember anything. So he compared that to death. Death is a medical intervention where you actually put out and then you wake up in a different body, not knowing what happened. So this is, but for a yogi, for someone who is actually elevated and understands the difference between the body and the soul, is it's like someone throwing a punch and they see it in slow motion. So it's very easy to, move aside when the blow is coming. Then with his mace, the Lord struck the enemy on the right of his brow. But since the demon was expert in fighting, or gentle Vidura, he protected himself by a maneuver of his own mace. In this way, the demon Haryaksha and the Lord, the personality of Godhead, struck each other with their huge maces, each enraged and seeking his own victory. There was keen rivalry between the two combatants. Both had sustained injuries on their bodies from the blows of each other's pointed maces, and each grew more and more enraged at the smell of blood in its person. In their eagerness to win, they performed maneuvers of various kinds, and their contest looked like an encounter between two forceful bulls for the sake of a cow. O descendant of Kuru, Brahma, the most independent demigod of the universe, accompanied by these followers, came to see the terrible fight for the sake of the world between the demon and the personality of God who appear in the form of a boar. After arriving at the place of combat, Brahma, the leader of thousands of sages and transcendentalists, saw the demon who had attained such unprecedented power that no one could fight with him. Brahma then addressed Narayan, who was assuming the form of a boar for the first time. Lord Brahma said, "My dear Lord, this demon has proved to be a constant pinprick to the demigods, the Brahmins, the cows, the innocent persons who are spotless and always dependent upon your worshiping your lotus feet. He has become a source of fear by unnecessarily harassing them. Since he has attained a boon from me, he has become a demon, always searching for a proper combatant, wandering all over the universe for this infamous purpose." Lord Brahma continued, "You see, this is the difference between Krishna giving a boon and Brahma or Shiva giving a boon. When Krishna gives a boon, is for the benefit of a person, ultimately. And when Lord Shiva gives a boon, sometimes he gave a boon to this crazy person that, whomever he asks, the boon I want is whomever I touch their head off, I will blow up. And so he wanted to test it on Lord Shiva. So that's a problem right there. You give a benediction to someone. It's like you go to a pawn shop and you have a painting or you have a piece of jewelry, and then I'll take $100, but the owner says, no, this is actually something valuable. Let me get an expert in the matter. So they bring an expert, and the expert says, no, this is a rare painting from the 16th century, and it's worth about $2.3 million. or let's say no, $150,000. Wanted $100. So the pawn shop owner tells the person, okay, well, now you see is actually valuable because he has a conscience. Didn't just pay the $100 and cheated the guy out of fortune, which is what the painting is worth, and says, okay, I'll give you $100,000 for it, so I can make some money too by selling it. And the person says, no, I'll take 150 or 140. You wanted $100, and I actually provided this fortune for you. So just take what I offer you. It's a fair deal. But the person just tries to take advantage. So this is what happened with Lord Shiva when he gave the boon. Gave the boon to the demon, and instead of the demon being grateful, okay, thank you, he just wanted to test it on Lord Shiva and blow his head off. So Lord Shiva had to leave. And eventually, of course, Krishna cheated the guy, said, no, Lord Shiva, he's lying. His benedictions are not worth anything. You can touch your head and see. And then he blew his own head off. So Krishna has to fix the benedictions given by Lord Shiva, and Brahma, who gave a benediction to Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, almost made him immortal. Krishna had to work his magic around that. But when Krishna gives a benediction, it's for the benefit of a person, period. Even if they may not like it. Like we all have gotten blessings from Krishna because we ask Krishna. I mean, when we pray, what should we pray for? Prabhupada said the only thing he asks his spiritual master is, how can I engage in service? How can I? So this is our prayer. Pray for pure devotional service. Not like, I need this, I need that. Even when Prabhupada actually criticized other religions, because when they pray, they ask for stuff. It's like, is God not aware that we are missing something and that we need something? Is he not kind that he won't give it even though we need it? No, he's very aware of what we need, and he will give us what we need, not what we want, which is quite different in most cases. So Krishna will give us, and he gave us the benediction. And if we see obstacles in our devotional life, means Krishna is putting the obstacles so we don't get into an accident. Simple as that. When you see that there are cones on the road, it becomes one lane, then that is to protect you and to protect the workers that are working in the lane that is closed. It's not like, oh, this is harmful. I have to slow down. I'm in a hurry. So we are in a hurry to go to the kingdom of death, no doubt about that. But Krishna is actually slowing us down, putting cones all over the place and putting obstacles so we can slow down and get on the right lane, on the right track, and protect us and protect everybody else from people like us. So no, we should not complain that Krishna hasn't given me what I want. We should know that Krishna is always giving us what we need. No doubt about it. Lord Rama continued, my dear Lord, there is no need to play with this serpentine demon who is always very skilled in conjuring tricks and is arrogant, self-sufficient, and most wicked. Brahma continued, my dear Lord, you are infallible. Please kill this sinful demon before the demonic hour arrives and presents another formidable approach favorable to him. You can kill him by your internal potency without doubt. My Lord, the darkest evening which covers the world is fast approaching. Since you are the soul of all souls, kindly kill him and win victory for the demigods. The auspicious period known as Abhijit, which is most opportune for victory, commences at midday and has all but passed. Therefore, in the interest of your friends, please dispose of this formidable foe quickly. This demon, luckily for us, has come of his own accord to you. His death ordained by you. Therefore, exhibiting your ways, kill him in the duel and establish the worlds in peace. Now, here, Lord Brahma is kind of herring Lord Varahadev. He's saying, do it quickly, finish, terminate him, come on. get on with it, because the demigods are in fear. Because Krishna came to Asvaraha to play his Leela, and he has, it's not like there are 12 rounds. Krishna wants to extend it to 25 rounds or 50 rounds. He wants to play with them. Finally, he has someone who is formidable enough to even try to fight him. Nobody else will fight with Hiranyaksha, and Krishna shows up as Varahadev, and he's willing to fight. But the demigods, although they're enjoying the spectacle and they're rooting for the winner, for the eventual winner, they are kind of scared that what if, this is how faith works. What if? Yes, I believe, but what if? There is always that. So they don't want that kind of hey, okay, Krishna, you had your fun, come on, finish him off, finish him now. And of course, the next chapter has the termination of the demon by a slap. It's funny, because uh, Hiranyaksha has a powerful mace that will literally crush an entire planet with, and hits the Lord, and produces some damage, but it's not enough to kill him. And the same with Krishna. Krishna has a mace that he can destroy a universe just by waving his mace. Doesn't even have to touch it, but he's choosing to play with the same rules. So the demigods know that, and they say, "Come on, seriously, you're gonna do this to us? You're basically it's like somebody grabs a wiffle bat, uh, uh, one of those bats for wiffle ball that they're made of plastic and they have no damage. They can only hit a ball full of holes. Otherwise, they'll go nowhere. So it's like they're hitting each other with plastic bats. Nothing is happening. So they are aware that Krishna is just playing around, but yes, they have a little fear that it may go a little too long and the demon may get an advantage. How did the demon come to power if it wasn't by Krishna's allowing him to? So they are afraid of something like that happening again. So eventually Varahadev just slaps them in the back of the ear with a hoof, and that's it. That's the end of the golden hair demon, who was put into an actually benediction for everybody, for the demigods and for Hiranyaksha, who just it was like the last birth, as Kumbhakarna and Ravana, and then Shishupal and Dantavakra, and now they appear as Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, and then they make a cameo appearance during Lord Chaitanya's pastimes as Jai and Vijay. These are Krishna's friends and servants, and yeah, just sends them back to his original position. So, going back to the verse, there's an interesting words like dviradam. That's an elephant. Dviradam. It's almost onomatopoeic. For those who don't know this word, onomatopoeic means a word that sounds like the definition of it, like slam the door. That slam is the sound that door makes when it's slammed. So this is an onomatopoeic word. And dviradam sounds like the walk of an elephant. Dviradam, dviradam. It's like stepping. And same thing with jasha. Jasha sounds like a crocodile closing its mandibles. So there are many onomatopoeic words in Sanskrit. This may be just some of them. And then, um, yeah, it's basically play. It's all play, no work. So Krishna has actually I don't know if he's pretending, but seems like he's pretending to be hurt by the words of Hiranyaksha. But this is all play. This is all play. Because if you, but it may not be. I don't know. I'm not a, I don't have the insight on it. Like when children um, reach a certain age, there is a lot of love exchanges between parents and children, but then the child reaches an age where, obviously not enough neurons are still available, and the frontal cortex is not fully developed, and they are capricious, and they are going through hormonal changes and puberty and adolescence, and they may say things like to this parent, like, "I hate you, I hate you." So the parents know that this is just a period in their lives where they are experiencing great anxiety and whims and hormonal changes and so on, but it still hurts them. There's no question about it. So I imagine in my demented mind that Krishna may feel something like that when the demons, even though he knows these are devotees, that they are put in this condition for my sake, so I can play, I can fight with them, that they say insulting words even though they love him dearly, that he may feel hurt, just like when Krishna plays as Damodar, and Damodar is just playing like a child. I mean, he really does. He really does. Yashoda doesn't know that Krishna is God, that Damodar is the supreme. And by the intervention of Yogamaya, Krishna also has a chance to forget his position, so he can actually enjoy the pastimes with Yasoda Maya. So there is this situation that, how could I call it, like divine illusion, where neither God nor the devotees know their real positions, and they speak to each other, motivated by love. So in this case, the talk is motivated by hatred, but this chivalry and anger is also one of the rasas. It's one of the secondary rasas with Krishna. So Krishna accepted as an act of love. So who knows? Anyway, this is very complicated. I don't know why I'm even approaching the subject. Okay, having said enough, it's been 45 minutes of my soliloquy, diatribe, and monologue. So I will give an opportunity to the illustrious audience and participants to express their opinions, realizations, reflections, questions, comments, whatever you bring into the picture. Thank you. Thank you for giving me a chance.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much for being here, because as always, sharing your love and wisdom with us all. So just like the speaker said, devotees, if anyone may have questions, comments, reflections, comments, realizations. All right, Shimabara Acharya, you may unmute. Hare Krishna.
Jai. Hare Krishna, this is
Jai.
Glorious to Sri Prabhupada, glorious to the assembly devotees. Thank you very much. That's a very nice one. I have a question. So many miracles and let's say miracles or unusual events in the Bible, for instance, have been demystified either as some normal occurrence that has been exaggerated or something, So I don't know whether theologians have done this to the Vedas, but the Bible had come under serious analysis, and theologians have reduced so many of the so-called miracles into, ordinary events, except there is historical parallel or historical evidence to prove that such thing happened. So, like in the case of Uriah throwing the earth into the ocean, into the Gavadaga Ocean, into the abyss of the ocean, is there any historical evidence of what was happening to the inhabitants of earth at that time? I mean, can you imagine the whole earth was submerged? And you never had anywhere that the people on earth, had this kind of, when there's tsunami, we know there's tsunami, But this is a case of the whole earth being submerged and then went through all that, cataclysm before Varaha raised it up. Do we hear anywhere that this was what was going on, to the headlines at that time? Anywhere? That's what I like to know. Just my curiosity. Hare Krishna.
Well, they got wet for sure. That I can tell. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Maybe, I'm speculating here that maybe Krishna created a bubble of air to cover them, to protect them. Because also Varuna, it's not that Varuna is, he's the Lord, they are underwater, but they're not like, they don't have water in their face. It's not like their hair is going, like this with the waves and the currents. They live in an atmosphere within the water. So I imagine that it may have been such atmosphere created for the inhabitants of the earth. Otherwise, everybody would have perished, and there was no point in the Lord coming and rescuing the earth if everybody was submerged. It's like it's like throwing a hornet's nest into gasoline. They're done. They're not coming back. So for humans, not aquatics, going underwater that's the end. There is no oxygen. They can't breathe underwater. So I imagine, and again, I don't know, I don't have any historical or scriptural or scientific evidence, but there must have been some sort of mystical air bubble created around the earth for the inhabitants not to drown immediately. And that's all I can speculate about.
Okay, thank you, brother. Thank you. A follow-up. So this is supposed to be some epic story that is happening in the cosmos. So the heavenly planet, the earthly planet, all are involved, spiritual world. But then the narrative we have in the Bhagavatam about Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, of course, even Jaya Vijay, is that they were caused to come down to the Earth planet. Okay, maybe there are other Earth planets, but definitely it looks like it is not the same Earth planet that was submerged that these beings were operating from. I hope you get me. Well, they descended to Earth planet, unless there are other Earth planets. But they descended to Earth planet, and supposedly we're hearing narratives of, beings who had come down, due to some fault. And from the narrative, it's like in our Earth planet. But then when you come to think of it, that the Earth was submerged by one of them, and definitely they were operating from somewhere else. And also, of course, their mother supposedly is also a demigod, I guess. So please, can you situate the position of Aditi and the Earth planet, and where this story really takes place? We know it's epic, yeah, fine. But then we still want to understand what was the real location where Hiranyakashipu was operating from, and his brother Hiranyakasha.
This is complete conjecture on my part. I don't have any information. I will actually try to get it from people who know more than me. I will contact Krishna Kshetra Swami and Hridayananda Maharaj and ask them the same question. See, when we meet again, we can have an answer for that, because I don't have an answer for you, Prabhu. I don't know. As far as I understood, it's the same planet that Aditi and Kashyapa were on this planet, and so were Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, and the earth that was thrown into the bottom of the ocean is this earth, this very earth that we live in. And if it isn't, I don't know about it. So I will actually follow up by asking people who may know the answer to these things. I
Thank
can
you
do
very
that
much.
much. Sure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you for the question and the response. There was a similar question asked here some time ago, and I remember one devotee implying that somewhere in the Bhagavatam, I think in Canto 5, where it talks about more or less like astronomy, that there are other planets which are also considered Earth, apart from this Earth with these continents we have and the different oceans we have. So he was saying that when Earth was submerged into the Garbo Ocean, it was the entire different Earth planets. But we would like to get your response from these great devotees so that we can actually understand what it actually meant. Madhavan Prabhu, please, you may unmute. You are muted.
Sorry.
Okay, good.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam, so grace, your lotus feet, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for being always there for us. We always appreciate it when you're around. So, if I'm permitted, from my own speculation, Prabhu, I was thinking that incident happened at Satya Yoga, and it was just after Lord Brahma finished his creation. So, and you know, I want to think that no human being was on Earth planet at that time. And when the thing happened, Lord Brahma was very curious because his interest was to populate the entire universe. So when this thing happened now, he was curious. So he wanted returned back so that jivas or living entities would populate the place. So many things happen. Even man himself might not be, when he was created, might not just be on this planet. Some, you know. So, and we know there are innumerable planets, innumerable universes. So Earth is just one of those. So I want to think that no, it was not yet inhabited by human beings or any other living entities. It was yet to be populated by Lord Brahma. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. That's certainly a plausible perspective. I'll check it out. I will add that to the inquiry that will pursue. See what happens.
Anyway, there's an objection. There's an objection to that speculation.
I have an objection to that also.
Because Iraksha was reported to have stopped all sacrifices from the Brahmins, disturbed so many beings and all that.
Correct.
So there were beings already on this planet. So
Yes.
there was no evidence already.
Yes, and his intent on fighting the Supreme Lord was after his big brother had been killed, after Hiranyakashipu had been killed. So there were
No,
people there.
No, the other way around.
The other way around.
No. Yeah, Hiranyaksha was killed first.
Hiranyaksha was
Even
killed first?
yes, yes. In the 10 avatars, Lord Nrsimhadev comes after Varaha, not before. And one of the reasons why Hiranyakashipu was so upset is because the Vishnu had killed his father. So when Prahlad Maharaj mentioned Vishnu, that wasn't a name that was welcome in the Kashipu household at all, because it was a killer of his brother.
Well, that is also very interesting thing to look into, because I always thought that Hiranyakashipu was killed first, and then Hiranyaksha wanted to avenge.
No,
But
that was exactly the opposite.
okay.
I had you say that several times. I've had you saying that several times, but I thought it was what do you say, slip of tongue. But repeating
No,
it
it's
again,
not a slip of tongue. That's what I had believed.
that was wrong.
Okay. Okay.
Well, if
Okay.
you've never been wrong before, so it's very
No.
not very likely.
Prabhuji, I have a question surrounding this. Well, thank you so much for the wonderful delivery. But I have this question about Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu. Jai Vijay, they didn't want to be here for too long, so they opted to come as demons. So to take 3 births, and then they will be allowed to go back to the spiritual world. From the curse and the narration means that they're going to be on earth. It did not say they're going to be in the heaven or they're going to be in the spiritual world. They're going to be on the earth. They're going to take birth on earth 3 times. Now, it so happens that their first birth was in Satya Yuga. Second birth was in Treta Yuga. Third birth was in Dwapar Yuga. And to you and me, that is nothing short birth or short time to be on the Earth planet. Now, the question I want to get cleared with is, when they left, when they were killed in Satya Yuga, before they were born into the Treta Yuga, where were they? They could not be on earth because they had been killed. And they could not go to heaven because according to the curse, they're going to be on earth. And they could not go back to the spiritual world either because they had not completed their 3 births. So, like in Sanskrit, they say pralaya, or I don't know, that is not pralaya. I've forgotten the name, but it's like the interim. The interim.
Pradhan?
Is somebody giving me the word?
Pradhan?
Pradhan, thank you. So in between the death and the birth, where were they? This is just inquisitiveness.
I think they were at the DMV in Harrisburg. And because it takes such a long time that they'll be by the time they get the driver's license, they'll be ready for the next fight. Is that a good answer?
I would take it, but see, I have this, unfortunately, this inquisitive mind. Even though, I mean, wherever they were, don't really add it to my possibility of going back to Godhead, but my inquisitive mind wants to know, where were they? And
Maybe they
how?
went shopping. Maybe they went shopping. I don't know.
Well, we have Pandit Prabhu as hand raised. Maybe he's going to help us in this angle. But even just Satya Yuga, Treta, Dwapar Yuga, 3 pets, that is quite insane to me. If somebody wants to just take 3 bets and then go back to the spiritual world, and it has to take him this much length of time. Pandit Prabhu, please, you may unmute.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavats, and sorry I can't turn my video on. I'm
It's
at work.
okay. It's okay. Thank you.
But 2-3 things that struck me. So one, the previous point about the earth. So if we look at Vedic cosmology, earth is actually not is a very, very, very tiny portion. So the main thing is Bhumandala. Bhumandala also refers to as, the earth planet. It is referred like that in Srimad Bhagavatam, but when we go into elaborate cosmology, we realize that Bhumandala is a massive, massive unit which has 7 dvipas, 7 islands, out of which one of those 7 islands is Jambudvipa. And our Earth, as we know it, the place that we are all here in Zoom meeting, is Bharatvarsha, also called as Bharatakhanda, which is just a tiny portion, accompanying a tiny portion of Jambudvip. So from what I recall, when Varahadev rescued this, he didn't just rescue our planet. It was the entire conceptual Bhumandala, which was inside the Garbhodaka ocean. And that's one. And number 2, it wasn't just the planet. It was also, Bhudevi was also there. And of course, it's we have to look at which Varahadev we are talking about, the Shweta or the Rakta Varahadev, the white or the red one. The red one is the one, the Rakta Varahadev is the one which is connected in the battle with Hiranyaksha, and so on. So anyhow, so that was my understanding. The second point as to where the Jaya and Vijaya went, this is actually mentioned in a couple of different places. One in Laghu Bhagavatamrita, when Jiva Goswami Pad is commenting on that about the different avatars of the Lord. When it comes to this particular avatar, it says that, look, they merge, the demons which are killed by the Lord, they merge into the body of the Lord, and that merging is Sayujya Mukti. And that doesn't necessarily mean, so because the Lord is not part of a material cosmos, so you could say that they are liberated, that's why it is Mukti. But at the same time, that is an inferior position for somebody like Jaya and Vijaya, who have a role to play. They have a relationship with the Lord, and so for them, they are not yet liberated. So it might seem like they're liberated, but they're not liberated. They're still very much bound. So they are still following the dictums of the curse, which were given to them, that you will not regain liberation for the next 3 lifetimes. And he goes further to say that that is the reason why it necessitated them to arrive as Jaya and Vijay, because only through the pastime of Jaya and Vijay can their liberation now be converted into devotional service as devotees. And so as devotees, then they can go back to a swarup where they are serving the Lord in a personal way. So this is what I remember, but my memory is faulty at best. So I apologize if it was not properly recollected.
Hare Krishna. Well, thank you for sharing that. Sri SARVATMA Prabhu, you have something to say in this regard?
No, I'm listening attentively. I may learn something that way.
Yeah, I find it interesting as Pandit Srivas Prabhu was speaking, in the sense that it makes sense to me that whoever gets killed by the Supreme Lord gets liberation. So if they merged into the divine body of the Lord, then when it's time for them to come back again, the Lord releases them. That sounds pretty much a possibility. But thank you for sharing that, Pandit.
I have a
Yeah,
concern. I
yeah,
do
so
have a
it's
concern.
not just one quick clarity before we
Sure.
hear from you, Sarvatma Prabhu. So it's not that the release of them back is a given. It's not like that. So there are many such demons or demonic people of demonic mentality who merged into the body of the Lord. And in fact, this was a main point of query by Yudhishthir Maharaj to Narad Muni when Shishupal was killed. Like, hey, I saw this happen. How did this happen? And it happened before our own eyes. And what really, why is it that something like this even happened? And so anyway, so the point is, there is no mention in Shastras about Shishupal, for example. Um, uh, you know, uh, of course, Shishupal did come back, but other demons also who have come back like that. Like every single demon doesn't have to. It's entirely the Lord is totally independent and may choose, and also take into consideration the eligibility of whoever is being killed to grant them that thing. But the liberation by themselves is meant to be pleasing to the concerned parties, not necessarily something that they're put into distress by being given liberation. So anyway, sorry, Sarvatma Prabhu, please go ahead.
My concern is that Jai and Vijay occupy a direct service to the Supreme Lord. It's not like they are kind of transient or about to, make a mistake. I think this, and it's explained in the Bhagavatam that this was organized by the Lord Himself because He wanted to fight, and He didn't want to fight with any earthly being. So that's why they fell down. They were in a position of direct service. They are the attendants. They are the guardians of Vaikunta. So it's not. I don't think it's. I don't know. I find it very puzzling the idea that they weren't complete in their service or they weren't yet pure enough, so they had to fall in order to get a second chance. It's like uh, someone is the U.S. postmaster, and then he's sent back to the back room to put envelopes in the different cubby holes because he has to go to the training again. He's already the postmaster, so I think they occupy a position that is like envied by. I mean, that's a wrong word to use, but uh, we wish we could
all
be.
wish for, yeah.
Yeah, in that position.
Oh,
So there is no
Yeah.
no idea of that they will like lose it. So because they basically forgot to fill out a form to be in Vaikunta.
oh yeah, 100%, 100%. I mean, there is, in fact, we'll go even further, and without exception, all commentators prior to Srila Prabhupada very clearly articulated that there is no concept of falling down once you reach the spiritual realm. It doesn't matter where it is that we reach. We can even reach to Brahma Jyoti, but there's absolutely no chance that somebody would ever fall down. The example, therefore, of Jaya and Vijay is given, like you very correctly mentioned, of one of service, deep service, where devotees may choose to appear, and with what some of us might then perceive as a fall down, is just their enacting the service of the will of the Lord. That's it. even if
Okay.
we were to ever be, you're right. I cannot imagine having that level of surrender where one can choose like that, oh, it's okay, Lord, if they so want, I'll be your enemy. I mean, that's
So
incredible service.
one
Yeah.
may say that they probably wanted a upward mobility in the sense that they wanted a different service. Uh, did they come back as Jai and Vijay once they
That
were
that
liberated from the
yeah.
curse?
Yeah. So
So they
the
didn't want a
reason,
change of service.
yeah. So Jay and
So
Vijay was yeah.
so they were on
Jay and
vacation.
Vijay.
Basically, went on vacation. Just
So yeah, so I mean, Jay and Vijay was incredible because that it brought them to a different level of association with the Lord. If you look at it, where was Jay and Vijay? They were in Vaikuntha, and where
Mhm.
is what is the relationship of these folks? So who are they called? Like Jaga and Madai, right? Oh, their relationship is way above the residents of Vaikuntha. There, at that point of time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is distributing prema, and which is a different rasa, much higher and deeper rasa than what the inhabitants of Vaikuntha uh, would have, would ever have. So yeah.
Hare Krishna. Beautiful.
Okay.
Well, Sri Sarvatma Prabhu, I have one other question,
Yes, go
which
for
is
it.
a little different from this theme. And that is, as you were reading from the texts on this particular chapter, chapter 18, I think it's 27 somewhere, where Lord Brahma was trying to tell Lord Krishna about the auspicious hour, which is, oh, thank you so much, Prabhuji, for being with us. Pandit Srivas Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Dhanavats.
Where Lord Brahma was telling Krishna that the auspicious time has just passed, and the auspicious time he mentioned Abhijit.
Abhijit.
Yes, Abhijit. And this Abhijit, I don't know much, if any at all, about astronomy, even what to speak of Vedic astronomy. But Lord Krishna described himself as Abhijit when he was speaking to Uddhava. Just like he says that of syllables, I am Om, of this and that. Now, my question is, who effects things in the universe? In other words, this Abhijit period, or like Brahma Muhurta hour, which is understood to be auspicious, who effects this auspiciousness? There are moments, certain times in our world where negativity is at its height. Who makes that effect take place? And similar to that, like these four Kumaras, they only spoke words that we curse you. And the Supreme Lord says, because they have said that, it's going to happen. Who makes such words come to life? And who makes certain times within the universe auspicious or inauspicious? Who is responsible?
There are certain modes that interact more heavily at certain times of the day, and we can see that the morning is the mode of goodness, the kind of the day is the mode of passion, the evening is a mode of ignorance. They're affected. I mean, one can be transcendental, one can sidestep them or overcome them, but these are like their eras, like Satya Yuga and then eventually Kali Yuga. They're also weather seasons. There's a lot of divisions. It's not just cosmology. It's actually and there are modes and that interact with the living entities. So there's it's not surprising. It's not surprising that there are moments in time that are or periods that are more auspicious. And so who decides? I think is in the fine print in the creation of the universe that all these things are already incorporated and you have to just deal with them. You have to know how to navigate. Like, for example, there are omens about bad things that will happen, like climatic changes. These are signs. Birds formation and sounds from animals, and etc. etc. These are of course, they are not studied nowadays. They're not taken seriously. They don't even know about them. But perhaps, and Prabhupada gave the solution. If you have $1 million, all of your $10 problems are over. So this is, if you actually follow the principles and chant Hare Krishna, you will actually have to have a advantage over all these things that are part of living in the material world. So I don't see a conflict. I don't look for a guilty party or some guy who has a switchboard that turns on and off things according to their whim. These are things that are already installed in the software, and it's actually part of the hardware. It's not even software. Just it happens like that. Like when you open the computer, like you have a laptop and you open the laptop, it will actually come up. The image will come out automatically. So as soon as you come into the material world, there will be all sort of things that are already working. It's just that we have to, if we care, if we'll make a difference, we should know what works and what doesn't work and how to operate around it. There are times for conceiving, there are times for sleeping, there are times for weddings, there are times for sacrifices, there are times for everything, because it's kind of circumventing the modes of nature and the operating system, if I may use that terminology. The world has an operating system, and you have to be plugged in. You have to be connected. There is Wi-Fi, there is Bluetooth, in the universe, and you have to just know how to access it. And Prabhupada gave us the password, by the way. So just, and also there is a fee. Wi-Fi is not free. So living in the material world and getting a connection to it, to understand it, is not free. There is a sacrifice. It's called Jagya. And the Jagya for this age is Sankirtan Jagya. So if you do the Sankirtan Jagya, you will be connected. You have strong Wi-Fi, even if it is not sunny, and you have satellite connection. So this is what we should look forward to circumvent, not to have to get into the nitty gritty. Like if your computer goes down, you find an expert. You don't try to fix it yourself. If it's changing a tire, that's one thing. But if it is changing the motherboard, no, not everybody is qualified. So we have to find a connection, and that's why there is Guru and Vaishnava and Shastra. That's why we get our perks. That's how you get it. It's otherwise it's a maze of cosmic bureaucracy that you will never have access to. You'll never get the end. You'll never get to the right desk. You will be tossed around. And there was a book written by Franz Kafka, a Czech writer that lived in Germany and the Czech Republic. No, he was from Czech Republic, and he lived in Germany, and he wrote a book called The Trial. And The Trial is a story about Mr. K, who was actually accused of a crime, and so he went to the ministry where they, the justice, and he was tossed from one desk to the next, and he basically couldn't never find the way to atone for a crime that he didn't know he had committed. It wasn't even it's like a nightmare. It's like a living nightmare. So living in the material world without the access to the Vedic knowledge is like being on a bureaucratic trial in a utopian world that is just basically a copy of hell. So fortunately for us, we have been given a good GPS to find our way back home, and we should just have to follow the directions. And the GPS is Vaishnava, Guru, and Shastra. And if you take shelter of that, and if you take shelter of the process, there shouldn't be any problem. Matter of fact, Vaishnavas should be happy. Vaishnavas should not have any problems, even if inconveniences come their way and things that ordinarily will make a person depressed. They should be incentives. A Vaishnava should live a happy life. They understand, this is just a temporary setback, and it was sent by Krishna to make me even more serious about Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, there shouldn't be, all these stuff, all these hoops. We have to go through them one way or another. So there is the way to just get discouraged and depressed about them and take them as, Krishna has forgotten me, or there is a way to say Krishna has fortunately remember this wicked, lowly servant of his, reluctant servant of his, and he's giving me an incentive to basically move forward in my devotional practice. And in the practice of devotional service, you should feel enough happiness to counteract all distress that one can feel.
Well, thank you so much, Prabhuji. It's beautiful. But there are many things we're trying to be devotees, and as such, there are many things we just accept them because they are said in the scriptures, they are mentioned in the scriptures, but they are quite difficult to tell others who are non-devotees that this or that actually happened or took place. Like in the case of Krishna's city called Dwaraka, at least that scientists have been able to prove that there was a civilization like that. But even Ram building the bridge to Lanka, that has also been proven by science. But there are many other things which science have not yet proven, and it makes it quite difficult to share with non-devotees, and they accepting that this is truth, except axiomatically, people just accept that, okay, this is what it is. Just like Srimad Prabhu said from the first question he asked, there are many people sometimes try to share Vedic pastimes with, and they tell me, do you really believe in these things? I said, I don't believe in them. I know that they happened. And he says, how do you know? So in other words, it's not, at least to me, it's not easy for me to share with others that what I'm telling them from the scriptures are true events. They are not just like stories. That's just all I would say. Hare Krishna.
Well, Keshava Swami, Swayam Bhagavan Keshava Swami told a story about um, uh, this girl that had parents, and she asked the father, "Where do we come from?" And the father said, "We come from apes." I mean, you read, the Theory of Evolution by Darwin. And then she went to her mother and said, "Where do we come from?" And she said, "We come from God." And then she asked the mother, "But daddy says that we come from apes." And she said, "Yeah, his side of the family do come from apes." So this is what we are faced with, that some people are faithful and intelligent, and they can understand certain things, and some other people, they can only understand a very small spectrum, a very small fraction of the whole spectrum. So I would say, I don't know who you talk to, that you want to tell stories about, the Mahabharata and the Dasavatar, and et cetera, et cetera. Give them what they can take. Like one lady was asking me, my father is a Mayavadi, and I'm practicing Krishna consciousness, and he tells me that ultimately the Lord is impersonal, et cetera, et cetera. And so how do I deal with that? I said, just tell him, "Daddy, I love you," and give him some prasadam. This is probably the best solution. So you have to deal according to time, place, circumstances, and the interlocutor, the other person. Is important. We kind of forget. It's like, if we could, we'd probably give someone a lado and shoot him in the head, if it's not favorable. That will be probably the fastest solution to make him a devotee, according to our, the Bhakta manual, so-called Bhakta manual. No, no, you have to actually do what's needed, and that depends on the discretion of the preacher. So we are to deliver the medicine in the dose according to the person, according to the patient, not according to our desire. Of course, we want to just unload a dump truck of Krishna consciousness on everybody we meet, but it's not possible. They don't have the receptive capacity to get that kind of load. So if someone says, "Do you believe in all that?" You can tell them, "What difference does it make to you if I do or don't?" you know because the burden of a proof is, there is also a burden in negative proof. In other words, if someone says, "I don't know if I believe in God or not," okay, that's an ignorant but honest position. And if someone says there is no God, oh, they have a burden there. They have to prove that there is no God. So atheism is a very tenuous and very weak position, because they have the burden to prove that there is no God. And unless they know everything, they couldn't know that. And if they know everything, they are God. So they have proven themselves wrong anyway. So we have to only give what people can take. And is up to us. We have to do it intelligently and carefully. And it is our fault. And also, people may not be ready. Like, let's say 30, 40 years ago, if someone told you, Krishna is black, and he wears a peacock feather. God is black and wears a peacock feather, and he has a girlfriend. Yeah, right. You would have said, "No way, I don't believe that." But why not? Why not? So you have to, people have to progress to a certain stage so you can give them the next dose of medicine. The first dose may be very, very small, very, very small.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Also, what difference does it make to you?
Really, none.
No difference at all.
No.
No. So you should, we should be smart and kind and give whatever people would accept. And so, and if someone cannot accept anything, anything, which is rare because they can always accept, some prasadam.
Yeah.
Then you avoid them. Then you walk away. There is another junior Hiranyaksha, in the making.
Yeah.
So just walk away.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Prabhu. If I recall, Govinda Prabhu, please you may unmute. Govinda Prabhu has something to ask or to say. But if I recall about the story we're sharing about Srila Prabhupada telling one devotee that Krishna is black is one of your own. I think that was one of Prabhupada's disciples called Bhakta Das Prabhu. He shared.
No. Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, he shared a pastime in one of Prabhupada's memories that when he joined, his family members didn't want him to join. And then he told them that, well, these people worship God. And they told me that God is black. And his family members said, really, did they say that God is black? And he said, yes. They did not just tell me, but he is in the temple, he's on the altar, standing there as black. So they all followed him to go to the temple. And they all saw that, yeah, God is black. I found that very interesting story.
Bhaktadas, you say?
Yes,
Bhaktadas?
that's his name, Bhaktadas, yes.
But he's white. I know Bhaktadas.
Oh no, Bhaktadas, maybe it's a different one. This Bhaktadas is black. It's African American.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know him.
Yeah, it's African American. I heard him from Prabhupada memories. Govinda Prabhu, please you may unmute.
Thank you. Prabhu, please accept my respectful obeisances. Glory to
Accept
you.
my Prabhu.
Glory to the assembled devotees.
Right.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Prabhu, the way you describe Jai and Vijay and Krishna coming down to Air Planet to fight, the way you describe this fighting skills, I'm just thinking, I'm just speculating that were you on the boxing field or kind of martial art?
Actually, I enjoy watching martial arts. Yeah, no, I used to do judo when I was young, but I always enjoyed. Any astrologer has done my chart that told me I'm a kshatriya. There's nothing else but kshatriya blood. So I enjoy people smashing their faces. Yes, I do. And it's like the story. I was once giving a presentation at a Waldorf school, and there were children. They were maybe 10, 11 years old, or even younger, maybe 8 to 10 years old. And I told some stories from the Mahabharata. That's what they asked me to speak about, the Mahabharata. So I said the Mahabharata is mostly about the Pandavas, and I described the Pandavas and their skills. And when you got to Bhima, I said, well, Bhima actually, they were all married to the same woman, Draupadi, and Draupadi, she had a problem. Draupadi was too beautiful, and so she evoked lust in everybody and especially the demons that she met. So there was this the son of a king where they were staying, Kichaka, who actually had had a crush and will harass her, and just so she discussed it with her husbands, and they said, don't worry, we'll just say yes, we'll meet at midnight at a dance hall, because Arjuna was actually disguised they were all disguised in this court. It was the last part of the exile, and Arjuna was very effeminate because he had a curse that he had to be a eunuch for a year. So he took advantage, and he was teaching dancing to the girls. So the dance hall wasn't used at night. So Draupadi told this Kichaka, yeah, we'll meet at midnight at the dance hall. And instead, they sent Bhima and they put a blanket on him. So Bhima was waiting for Kichaka, and he thought, finally I will get Draupadi. And Bhima was he had a particular signature in fighting, that he will actually pummel people. I mean, the son of a wind god is the strongest of them all. Even when they escape from the burning house of lacquer, Bhima had to carry them. Sometimes Bhima just basically picked them all up and just run during the night because they had to escape. So Bhima basically hit the guy in the head with a fist and sunk the head inside his neck, just into the torso, and then grabbed the arms and just push them into the sockets, and the same thing with the legs. So when they came in the morning, what they saw was like a ball of flesh. It was just a torso. They didn't know what it was, but because of his signs, because of the jewelry and so on, they discovered that that was Kichaka, and they almost got discovered because of that, because only Bhima would be able to do such a thing. So I told other stories. I told it the marriage stories and so on, but the kids, a year later, that's all they remember. And the kids weren't kshatriyas. All they remember is that the the arms and the legs and the head went into the sockets. Basically, that's it. That they were fascinated. So it is not uncommon. I mean, unless you're a prude
Yes.
old lady from the 1800s, and you think that is the most disgusting, despicable thing you ever heard. These stories are fascinating, and I have a certain nature, at least while I'm in this body, and yeah,
Yes.
I do enjoy, and this is not
Thank
just
you.
for men. This is not just for men,
Yeah.
because when the Pandavas went on a resort town, can't remember the name right now, Varanavata, and they had a tournament for wrestling tournament for ladies only. So this is it's not like the Vedic women were like barefoot and pregnant, and making chapatis. No, they had their own fun too. They were wrestling. So this is for Kshatriya women. Subhadra and also Rukmini were expert and driving war chariots. That's not a little 120-pound lady. These are warrior ladies. So they are able to fight. They're able to curse. They're able to wrestle and drive war chariots. So this is it's a very expanded culture. Some people have interest in business, like you see, you go to a temple, a Sunday feast somewhere, and some people are just, as soon as there is kirtan, they are there and they're chanting and dancing and they won't go away. And other people are in the corner, exchanging information because they do business and that's all they talk about. And some other people talk about, I make this, I'm making my own furniture, just everybody's, someone else, I read this from a scripture. So all four varnas are represented, and everyone has attraction to one more than the other one. Of course, nowadays, people are mixed. Even Prahlad Maharaj says that in the seventh canto, that we are all mixed uh, individuals in the sense of, it's not like pure Brahman, pure Kshatriya, etc., etc. And that's how the cards are dealt nowadays. So we may have more interest in one thing than the other, or interest in two or three of the four varnas. But that's this psycho, social, political, intellectual, all the when everything falls into the ground, you can see they have a certain mentality, a certain tendency. So yeah, I'm attracted to uh, Kshatriya's activities, and even the Pandavas when they were in disguise and they were dressed as Brahmins, and Duryodhana sent the spies. They couldn't he couldn't tell. I mean, they were very muscular and very big men, but you couldn't see the marks of the bowstring or the scars from weapons hit against their bodies. But he could tell. He said to Duryodhana, I don't know who they are, these Brahmins, but all they talk about is weapons and fighting. So I have a suspicion that these guys are not who they supposed to be. So once nature will come through. So in my case, I'm not apologetic. I like fighting. I can't do it myself. I have arthritis. I hit someone, and it hurts me more than it will hurt the other person. I will. It'll take me a month to recover from punching somebody even once. But at least I can appreciate others doing it, which is actually not a bad way. You don't get injured by watching someone else fight.
Thank
Anyway,
you very
long answer.
Thank you. Thank you. Prabhu, thank you. Sorry for my curiosity. Thank you, actually. You've confirmed, my thinking about you. Thank you. My real question is, Prabhu, we know there are 4 ages, Satya, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali. In every age, there is a process by which the living entities get back to Krishna. So my question is, Satya Yoga people were going back to Krishna through sacrifice, and Treta Yoga was meditation, and Dwapara Yoga was temple worship, and Kali Yoga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and gave us the holy names, Harinam Sankirtan. And we know Kali Yuga started after Krishna has departed from the world, and that was 5,000 years. So between 5,000 and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came 500 years ago. So like 4,500 years ago, in between, when Krishna left the planet, before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came after Krishna has left the planet, the difference is 4,500 years. So my question lies there: how were the people there going back to Godhead? How did anybody worship Krishna, and what was the process there?
Well, the references in the scriptures are there, but that's why Lord Chaitanya had to show up to show how to do it. Because if you read the Bhagavad Gita, it's pretty obvious what you have to do. But I think the evidence was a little bit hidden, for the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I don't know if there was any. Well, there is a gap. For example, from the moment
Yeah.
Vyasadeva to Madhvacharya, which is the next acharya in the disciplic succession, there is 1,000 years. What happened during those 1,000 years? But Vyasadeva is considered to still be on the planet, to still be in the Himalayas, and I don't know exactly how Krishna consciousness was being practiced, but it was just like the very beginning of Kali Yuga. So there were still opportunities for going to a temple and chanting the holy names. It's just that not everybody did it. And Lord Chaitanya gave a chance to everybody, just basically eliminated all barriers of creed and religion and gender and race and everything else. Said anybody can do it, and made it very clear. There is a reference in the 11th canto of the Bhagavatam that the avatar is not going to be the same is going to be golden. But it's a it's a reference in the 11th canto of the Bhagavatam. How many people read the 11th canto of the Bhagavatam? How many have access to it? The printing press didn't come until much later, and what to speak of printing. That's why the Prabhupada gave so much emphasis to the books, to so people can have access to what literally no one in any of the ages from Satya all the way to Kali Yuga had before, which is anybody can have the Vedas at home. And not only the Vedas, but the sum and substance of the Vedas, the highest literature, and the additional comments by the Goswamis and contemporaries and disciples of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that they have access to many of the incredible scriptures that give even further guidance of how to practice Krishna consciousness in Kali Yuga when things really get bad. So we are in a privileged age where things are getting worse, yet more and more literature about the subtlety of Krishna consciousness keeps coming out, and more examples come out as devotees make advancement. So I don't know. I don't know what happened for the first 4,500 years. How did they practice Krishna consciousness? But certainly, and obviously, not very well, because when the Goswamis went to Vrindavan, they had to excavate, they had to find places of pilgrimage. They were abandoned. So obviously, Kali Yuga was kicking in pretty hard. But then is actually our responsibility now to make sure that, as Prabhupada said, if you can't expand, at least maintain. So we haven't been even successful as maintaining the efficacy of Krishna consciousness and make it relevant to the world. Who in this planet will have will undergo any kind of social, spiritual, political, intellectual, scientific, have some kind of important quandary, and I'll ask the Hare Krishnas, who will even think that about it? So we are not relevant. We are not relevant, and this is what Prabhupada wanted us to be relevant, to be the people that need to be consulted at any time about anything. Just like when I started reading Prabhupada books, I was completely astonished. How does he know so much? How is it even possible to know so much about so many things? It's inconceivable. So that's what people should actually discover. Yeah, you can come to the books. You can come to the devotees. You can rely on us. We have to have impeccable behavior to match the teachings that we are producing.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Certainly.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Mother Shri Shopanishad, are you still here? Okay, go ahead, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Just one thing that Varahacharya Prabhu wrote that is on the chat, that in Satya Yuga the process was by meditation. Yes. So it's just clarifying that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I was just trying to find out if Mother Shri Shopanishad is still in the house and if she has something to say.
Hari Hari Bol.
Hare
All
Krishna.
glory to you, magnificent, wonderful Vaishnavas. Thank you, Prabhu Sarvatma, for your wonderful, wonderful lecture. You always give us some more revealing information, especially with these unique pastimes. Thank you very much. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. And I agree. Prabhupada books are just out of this world. Hare Krishna. We should spend 24 hours a day reading Srila Prabhupada's books. Haribol.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, if you can convince my digestion to do that, now I will be also reading 24 hours a day.
Well, Sarvatma Prabhu, thank you so much. I would like to say thank you to Shriman Varahacharya Prabhu, and of course, everybody else, but particularly Sarvatma and then Varahacharya. For some reason, of all these years I've been in the devotional service, I always thought that Hiranyaksha was killed first before Hiranyakashipu. But I've learned from both of you today that it's the other way around. And I can't thank you enough. So the clarification is that if any of you were also thinking like I was thinking, that Hiranyaksha was killed first, and then Hiranyakashipu was killed later because he wanted to have more powers to avenge his brother's death, not the other way around. Thank you so much. And if you may have concluding remark, His Grace Sarvatma Prabhu, then we may bring this to a close.
Only one thing. I had a realization. I was having a Zoom call with maybe 20 devotees, and I knew every one of them, but they didn't know each other. I mean, some knew, but not to the extent. So I asked everybody to introduce themselves, and they did. And then at the end, after all 20 were introduced, I actually spoke about each one of them, basically describing their achievements and their personality and their traits and their qualities and so on. I went through every single one of them, and I felt great pleasure, and it lasted me for a while. No, it wasn't just that moment. It was for days. Just glorifying devotees is such a pleasurable thing to do. And even though I'm prone to criticize, and my mind is always looking for excuses to find faults in everybody, even from the, let's say, practical point of view, do you get more pleasure by criticizing the word? There is a pleasure. No, I don't deny it. There is a pleasure in criticizing devotees. There is some perverted, morbid reason that I keep doing it, because it gives me great satisfaction. But I found out that praising devotees, and practically, it gives a lot more pleasure and long lasting. So it would be nice if I can actually learn from my own experience and learn how to glorify devotees and not think ill of anyone, and find good quality, even if they are not fully manifested. So, on that note, I would like to thank all of you and appreciate each one of you, even if I don't know you very well, for giving me a chance to help you in any way. If I mean, just saying that, I feel pretentious. Like I couldn't help even myself. I couldn't help anybody. But if I can help you or give you some enthusiasm and impetus to practice Krishna consciousness, to delve deeper into our tradition, then I feel my life would be blessed. So please, I ask you to pray for me and to forgive me for my shortcomings and for my criticism. And it may take me a while to learn how to deal with Vaishnavas, because Vaishnavas are very dear to Krishna and very exalted. And one day, maybe by your association, I may aspire to be a Vaishnava. So all the best, and thank you again. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Well, thank you so much. Understand Hare Krishna is a learning school. We are all here learning. And we've learned a lot from you today, as always, how to see good in others. We thank you so much. Dear devotees, we're going to humbly request you all to kindly unmute yourselves. And we all, with one voice, one heart, chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to express our deepest gratitude and appreciation to our revered speaker, His Grace Sarvatma Prabhu, for sharing his love and wisdom with us all today. Of course, as he does always. Jai. Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
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 Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Titana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo. Namo Namaha.
His Grace Sarvatma Prabhu ki
Jai.
Jai. His confounder Acharya is Evangelist Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
His Grace Sarvatma Prabhu ki
Jai.
Hare
Glory to
Krishna.
our